Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the last match of tonight. We are once again in Division 1, and we are once again hoping for another Game 5. There has been a switch. I am Machtfish, and by my side is the ever-consistent threat of the ECC, and the threat to all people watching the streams and playing on stream. It's Herbie.
Well, I'm excited to see this one. I've only been here for a couple of seasons, but even I recognise that this is a proper traditional ECC matchup that we've got going on here between an Ascension roster and a Fort Templar roster, organisations that have been around for a little while and participating in a match this evening that has big implications for both teams in their respective areas of the table. Fort Templar Academy are looking to chase down Weeby Dreams at the top of the table. They are one of two sides remaining with an unbeaten record. That could come to an end this evening if Ascension Kyrios are to keep their very slim playoff hopes hanging by a thread. They're currently 2-4 in 6th place.
Yeah, and as you pointed out, Kyrios just not the season they were hoping for, I'm sure, with Chucho and Cherry just bringing in Cass for the departing Kurtz, who's doing quite well in the Champions Conference, of course, and just replacing it with Cass, and it hasn't been going too well this season. They are a bit underperforming, but as you point out, the top 4 finish is still possible if they get their stuff together and if they have to win everything else now. And if they do, they have a slim chance, a very, very slim, because the top of the table in Division 1.2 looks very, very scary with just 2 teams still unbeaten and 2 teams with only 1 loss. So it's looking like it's very, very unlikely for Kyrios to make playoffs still.
Yeah, you're talking about a big overturning of somebody's record for them to drop all the way down to 5-4. For any of the teams to do it, it would be multiple losses in quick succession. Fort Templar Academy, perhaps, maybe, if Ascension Kyrios can get this win, it makes Fort Templar Academy the most likely team to allow that to happen to them. It would drop their win percentage to 80 with a 4-1 record. So that would set them off with the pace at the top of the table a little bit, but it's a very difficult ask. Ascension Kyrios have replaced Kurtzer with a player of lesser quality, I think it's fair to say, even though Cass is a wonderful player. You've mentioned that Kurtzer is having a great season in the Champions Division, and these players are simply not at that level, but I still think they're doing okay to this point, even though they don't have the wins to show for it. Their game win difference is only -2, and they are still in contention for the Division 1 playoffs when perhaps they could have been lower than this.
Yeah, you hit it nail on the head there. It could have gone way worse for Kyrios, but they've come into the season and they wanted to achieve playoffs, which just hasn't happened, unfortunately, for them. And I'm just looking at it, their wins, they've won with a clean sweep. They've won 3-1, and they mostly lost in Game 5 against the 2 big ones, against Godel's Divinity and against Dawnguard, who currently sit in 2nd and 3rd, respectively. Lost both these matches in Game 5, and that's why they're currently in 6th place. And that's where probably they've lost their chances at playoffs this season. But you never know with Rocket League. There's always stuff that can go wrong. There's always teams that could drop out, even though we don't hope it, of course. Anything can happen here in the Division 1, and that makes it so exciting.
Yes, as you mentioned, the most 2 recent results for Kyrios being those 5 games defeat to Godalian's Divinity and Dawnguard, but surely that's got to give them a little bit of a kick in the teeth heading into this series. I mean, at least in those losses, they are taking games. They'll be disappointed to have not taken the series overall, but they will have a little bit of momentum carried over from those previous matches, and they'll feel like this one, at the very least, is slightly more winnable than the others were.
Yeah, and of course that's the last shred of hope that they have to cling to, to just get the season back on track. But as for Templar Academy, just flawless season thus far. The 4 games they have played, they have all won. I think there might be 1 double forfeit still outstanding for Templar, but they've won, and they've won quite well. However, they have not played any of the other top teams. They now play Kyrios. Next week they play Dawnguard, and last week they play Godel's Divinity. So actually, I feel like for Templar Academy, they do hold the key in the Division 1.2 playoff battle, where if they do well against either of those teams, then they can secure themselves a spot fairly easily.
Well, Fort Templar Academy may not have beaten any of the top contenders, but Their most recent result is an intriguing one that came against Team Luxembourg, the team immediately below them in the table. Of course, in terms of the actual record of the two sides, there's a vast difference between them, with Team Luxembourg sitting sub 50 themselves. But a 3-0 sweep for Fort Templar Academy, in which they conceded just 3 goals in the opening game and then proceeded to get 1-0 clean sheets in both games 2 and 3. The defensive performance from them very strong. D-Lynch was the MVP in that series, so watch out for them. But very concerning signs for Ascension Kyrios, who, looking at their roster and from what I've seen for them in both the ECC and Rocket Sundays, this combination of Ascension players is very offensive focused.
I mean, I'd say yes and no, because obviously you've got Chucho on Ascension Kyrios, who's just the one-trick pony, the air dribble king. If he's going off the wall, you know an air dribble is coming from him. Whether that be a bump at the end of it or not, that's in the stars. But then you've got Cass, also incredibly talented offensive player in his own right. But I feel like Cherry is sort of the player that keeps the team glued together. That's a bit more relaxed in his playstyle, a bit more relaxed in his approach, and just going for a lot safer plays, just being that third man that you need in the roster to just enable Cass and Chucho just, well, going monkey mode and trying their damnness to score some flashy goals in offense.
Well, it's prediction time. We've talked plenty about how both sides have the potential to win this series or potentially slip up, but only one team can win it in the end. Is it easy to look past Fort Templar Academy and just suggest that Ascension Kyrios will get this victory and get themselves back into playoff contention because it's what they do? Or will Fort Templar Academy put pressure on Weeby Dreams at the top of the table? What is their level?
I mean, Fort Templar is pretty much, I think, they are the favorites here for this series. They are still unbeaten. Yes, they haven't played any of the big teams yet, so we don't have any results with that. But a 3-0 against Team Luxembourg, who sit at the same record as Ascension Kyrios, suggests that they might be a bit ahead of Ascension Kyrios. And you can't forget that Fort Templar Academy is also the second seed coming into the season, whereas I think Ascension Kyrios just a bit towards the middle of the pack, yet in 12th seed. So you'd have to give the favorites would be for Templar, but I can't go against Ascension. They're just the ECC OGs, and as a player who's been playing since the alpha season of ECC as well, just Ascension is always just synonymous with the ECC almost. So I'm going for the underdog win. I'm going for the upset here with Ascension Kyrios, but I think we're going to see the maximum game again. I think we're going to see game 5, so we'll just have 15 games on stream for you tonight.
Well, we've certainly gotten used to seeing Game 5s, and Ascension Kyrios have gotten used to participating in them, so it is a suitable marriage of the two combinations, and it would be a very spicy way to end the stream. Quicks Esports is if you top seeded team in the division, and then they did get a series of performers to tighten up the lower end of Division 1.3 and perhaps indicate that the playoff positions in that division could well be set, as Team Peak Performers will have their work cut out for them to get back into contention. But Division 1.2 is what we are looking at right now, and as we've already mentioned, the top 4 teams have not suffered many defeats at all this season, and for Fort Templar Academy, it's a game that they should win to put themselves into a favourable position before those head-to-head fixtures in the final couple of weeks of league play.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. But however, I think you cut out, so I didn't actually get your prediction. Who did you predict to win? You cut out.
Oh, well,
me, I think.
I'm going to have to go for Fort Templar Academy, the unbeaten team right now. Unbeaten teams are usually quite good at staying unbeaten, and against an Ascension Kyrios team that clearly has a lot of quality, but I'm not entirely convinced about them. I'm going to need to see them participate in the match, of course, but it's a roster combination that has the potential to both succeed and fail in spectacular fashion, as I'm sure they won't be happy to hear me say.
Yeah, okay, but so we do have a split desk here, so that's actually so we agree on the fact that we disagree here on the desk. So it's all on to the players really to show why one of us is either genius / the other one is being an idiot. And of course, you motivated Ascension Kyrios by voting against them. Same goes for me, vice versa, with the Fort Templar Academy, as we're still waiting on the Kyrios players who are taking their sweet time coming into this lobby, with the Fort Templar already here, eager to go and eager to get the series underway.
and it will be the last match of the evening. And for Game 1 of the series, it is a pivotal moment. We want it to go to Game 5. I think that's what we agree on. Game 5 would be a very suitable fashion in which to end the stream. But to get there, I think Ascension Kyrios will have to take the first game of the series. If they don't, and if Fort Templar Academy continue their solid run to start the season, their game win difference is currently +9. Of course, they swept their last series, and Game 1 was the most difficult of the lot. For Ascension Kyrios to have any chance of winning the series, they've got to get off to a hot start.
Yeah, and of course, this is a best of 5, so the first game, it's really, really important to get that quick start, to just build the momentum on your side, because in a best of 7, you can usually say, okay, first game, we can start slow, we can watch the opponent, we can watch what they are doing, and maybe adjust to it afterwards. But in the best of 5, you don't have the luxury, you don't have the time to take game 1 off, because that puts you on the back foot so much, it's simply not worth it. You have to come in all guns blazing, and Kyrios have historically been a roster that can deliver in game 1. I think they've also won the first game in both the series against Dawnguard and Dawnguard and what was the other match?
Godalian's Divinity.
Godalian's Divinity, thank you very much. Yeah, they've won the first 2 games there as well. But so I think they can start strong. But the question is, can they keep it up, or is Fort Templar just a bit too much for them?
Well, I believe me and Mac have talked for long enough without the symphony accompanying it of Rocket League cars going at it to decide who will take the valuable series victory for this evening, because Chucho, Cass and Cherry have joined the lobby, and we are going to get this final match of the evening underway. It's Division 1.2 between Ascension Kyrios and Fort Templar Academy.
And for the first kickoff, it's Cass versus D-Lynch as it goes towards the Kyrios after ERZ already up, getting it down. Unfortunate double tap here, and Cherry coming out of nowhere to get another touch on that in the corner to show. Flip reset over 1, but doesn't get him anywhere. D-Lynch looking for the pass down. That's a beautiful opportunity. Deshi with the shot, but the shot is weak. It's Cass on the goal line. Quick reflexes from the young Dutchman to get it out of the line, and it's still 0-0. But Chucho struggling here, and the shot is only against the post. Cherry has to come in here, does so, and the pressure continues from Fort Templar.
Yeah, Kyrios already looked like they were giving it some last-ditch defending there, and that's quite worrying for them in the first 30 seconds of Game 1. Here's a shot from D-Lynch that rattles off the crossbar. Chucho's going to clear that as far as the halfway line, and now Cherry will follow it up. You mentioned him being the key cog, keeping the team together. He's certainly gotten a big clearance on the ball there to alleviate the pressure for Ascension Kyrios. The RZ gets the demo on Chucho though, and they continue to pile their way through the defence, but that shot just wide of the right post, and Kyrios need to settle themselves down. They've done a good job of not conceding in the first minute of the game, but they need to start turning it the other way.
And it's Cass now charged with the defensive prowess. That's good clears from him. Can he hunt it down? Can he get there in time? Yes, he can. But the shot against the post, DRZ! No, that's so unfortunate for DRZ and for Fort Templar Academy. Cass hunted it down, shot against the post, and DRZ was like, okay, mate, I'm going to take this one for you.
I doubt we're going to see a more unfortunate goal in the entirety of this series. That was not the way that Fort Templar Academy would have wanted to concede the first goal of the game after taking the first 6 shots on target. Can they provide a quick response? Deshi was in there looking for the shot. This one's going to come back down in front of the net, but now here comes Chucho. We know what he can do in possession, and he has taken the ball over the top of one defender, puts it into the middle looking for Cass, now gets an extra touch on it, and it's going to centre it once more for Cherry, but DRZ gets through to make the save.
Now D-Lynch on the transition. Kyrios need to be careful to not overextend here as DRZ has the opportunity, but just turns away from it. Just doesn't want to challenge that ball. Wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the boost or the lack of loss of positioning afterwards. As Kyrios is now trying to put on the pressure here. DRZ. So good passing play between the Fort Templar Academy players, but Deshi just off target. And either way, there was a defender of Ascension Kyrios in the net, so that wouldn't have troubled anyone. However, Fort Templar Academy is looking a bit more dangerous than Kyrios at the moment. They just have the pressure, and they rarely let Kyrios out of their own half. Now D-Lynch with the physical play coming out. Chucho, big whiff from him. D-Lynch looking for the demo on Cherry. Can't find it, neither can D-Lynch, neither can Deshi find the target. So another good chance for Fort Templar Academy goes begging.
But what was once a fairly dodgy start defensively for Ascension Kyrios has turned into a slightly more favourable stretch of the game. Of course, as I say that, they give the ball away in front of the net, and Cherry is forced into making a good save, but they are still 1-0 ahead after scoring that goal completely against the run of play to open things up here at the beginning of the series. And Fort Templar Academy have struggled to put their shots in the dangerous area of the net, I feel. You have to credit Kyrios' defending, but Fort Templar Academy haven't been clinical enough.
Yeah, the shots really have lacked accuracy here from Fort Templar Academy, as they're now trying not to overextend again. They've seen what Kyrios can do on the counter, that they are quite dangerous counter-attacking when Cass gets forward quite quickly. Now they're trying to box them in. DRZ now with the shot. Can Cherry get the block? Yes, he can. Good awareness from Cherry to be immediately up for that one in the middle, cutting off his teammates and calling that as well. Now D-Lynch slow playing it past Future, gets it over Cherry, and that's a great goal from D-Lynch. Absolutely mind game Kyrios.
Well, that is certainly a great way to tie up game one and get your first goal of the series. It shows that you are still capable of great offense, and Ascension Kyrios have been battled back to an equaliser here with 1:37 to go in game one. Can the team in blue retake the lead, or do Fort Templar Academy have the momentum and it's going to stick now? Kyrios have taken possession from the kickoff. It's Cherry lifting the ball into the middle for Chucho. This one's up in the air and Cass is going to follow up on it. He does get the block in. One defender back now, and it's Deshi for Fort Templar Academy. Huge pinch across midfield though is going to see the ball into the offensive third.
Ball is already coming back into the orange half. Courtesy of Chucho, but now that's a free area for D-Lynch. Can't get a pound. I don't know what Cass was doing there, but he wasn't really in position, nor was he challenging that. Weird decision making from him. Nearly cost Kyrios as well, but they get away with it. Now D-Lynch gets the shot underneath Cass. Chucho with a great save. It's still on the goal line. It's not in it now. DRZ gets it in. 2-1. They've turned this game around.
Well, it looks dramatic when it's stuck there along the goal line, but the unfortunate reality was that nobody from Kyrios was getting to that ball. They were all fairly out of position. Chucho made a great first stop, but there was nothing that they could do about the rebound for DRZ. 55 seconds left in game one now, and Fort Templar Academy are on their way to getting the job done. Ascension Kyrios now find themselves hanging in the rear view mirror as opposed to driving at the front of the race.
As now Chucho gets a dribble dot. Cherry looking for the demo, can't find it on DRZ. That's unfortunate for him and for Kyrios that he couldn't find the demo there, but he's still in attack. Cherry now with the shot, but Dylan is there with the save. DRZ can't get the save against Chucho's shot. That was important for Templar, who look to be a bit more on defense now after this kickoff. It's Cass with the shot. Communication issue between Fort Templar, but it doesn't get back to bite them, and they're still in lead with 15 seconds roughly left on the clock.
Yeah, Kyrios are pressing, but I think it might be too little too late. They've left it until the final 30 seconds of game one. Down by one still, can they create something here? The ball floats over to the far corner and Deshi has a clearance to make. Cherry's up there to try and make the interception. Chucho wanted to carry it forwards, but just had it stolen away from him cruelly. DRZ now should tuck this ball into the ground and seal the deal, or maybe it'll be a spectacular own goal instead. Either way, doesn't matter. Fort Templar win game one.
Yeah, Cherry, that's the wrong net, mate. Great redirect. Love the redirect, but unfortunately for him, in the wrong net. I think if we can award goal of the season for own goals, that would be a definite contender for it. But Fort Templar Academy won't care. They've taken game one. They've taken game one in quite the commanding fashion. I don't think the ball has left the blue half of Kyrios for more than, 45 seconds? If that. So if they just do what they're doing right now, they're just keeping it up the pressure and just oppressing Kyrios, and it's really, really something spectacular to see just the difference that the confidence here makes for Templar Academy.
Yeah, it was a bit tricky at the start for Fort Templar Academy when they couldn't break the ice and get themselves on the board, but I think their confidence grew as the game went on and they fought their way back from behind, which is bad news for Ascension Kyrios because now Fort Templar Academy has settled into what is realistically going to be the rhythm of this series, where they're getting all of the shots and Kyrios are trying to strike on the counter-attack. Now that Fort Templar Academy are going to be used to that gameplay format, Kyrios might have to change up the way that they get out of their own third.
I think it was mainly down to speed for Kyrios, that just getting outsped to every ball in the air on the ground doesn't matter. And the one time Dylan just took that speed away, it completely changed the momentum, gave them a strong opportunity. As now Deshi again outspeeding Cherry here on that attack. DRZ trying to come in, misses the ball. D-Lynch already there. The speed of for Templar on the rotation and on the cutting is too good. It's Cass now against the backboard of Kyrios. That ball dangerously just passed it like horizontally across the field. So they don't want to do many mistakes like this Kyrios, really, because that's gonna get punished more often than not. And this time they got lucky.
Well, the question that I have for you as a more experienced member of casting and playing in threes, I would say, for Ascension Kyrios, they've got their coach in the lobby right now, Dennis, but between two teams of varying caliber when it comes to their offensive consistency, how much difference is he going to make? What impact can he actually have for Kyrios in this series?
I think having your coach there, and especially Dennis, who's also quite experienced with the roster, just gives a bit of perspective to the players, because you don't really see everything that the coach is going to see from his perspective, from probably sitting in the back corner, just trying to analyze what's going on. And what he's seeing right now is that there's a lot of whiffs, there's a lot of slow playing from Kyrios, but Chucha right now, he also sees a good save from Chucha, because the defense of Kyrios surprisingly holds on quite well, which is either due to their positioning or what I rather think is that due to, well, the lack of threatening attacks for Templar. They have the ball a lot, they have got a lot of possession and a lot of pressure, but don't really capitalize off of it, and that's Kyrios' saving grace. That's why it's still 0-0 here in this game number 2, and that's why the first game was also this close. It's Chucha. Great delay there, but doesn't matter. It gets cleared anyway.
Well, if Ascension Kyrios are going to win this game and tie up the series, they've got to score at some point, and they are going to find themselves 1-0 down. It's taken about 2 minutes, but Fort Templar Academy have the first goal. Cherry just not quite quick enough, I think, to get up to that ball, and DRZ put it on a plate for Deshi in front.
Yeah, and that's gotta hurt it for Kyrios, because your game plan needs to be, we have to keep a clean sheet for as long as possible to get just one goal on the counter attack and then just hold, because right now they can't really compete with the Fort Templar Academy. They're just too quick, too consistent, just outplaying them on quite honestly. Here is Fort Templar Academy, so you have to keep the clean sheet as long as possible, because you can't really compete with them offensively. So you have to try using your defense, which can work, but for that the comms need to be clean, and I don't think the comms are necessarily very clean. As Chucha now backflips and cuts Cherry off completely. That's not something Dennis wants to see.
Well, the good news for Kyrios is, at least for now, they're still only down by 1, and that is a deficit that they can claw back with very little opportunity at the opposite end. But Fort Templar Academy pressing to build upon their advantage. Down into the far corner it goes, where Chucho takes possession on. Cherry has a demo further forwards. He's got 2, actually. Here comes Chucho, and Ascension Kyrios have an open net. Cherry has missed it. Cass has missed it too. He goes up for the double tap, but how did they not score?
Why did Cherry cut there? Cass was in such a good position to just tap it in, but Cherry just, I don't know if he just panicked or what. He just called him off and just went for the ball and whipped it, and this time he gets the shot on target. Now Cass, open net, crossbar denies it, still on the line. I can't believe it. Kyrios, you have to fucking score these. You can't just keep like missing these chances. It's 2 open nets in a row, and Kyrios has whipped both of them.
Well, I know why Dennis is there. He's absolutely screaming at them now, because those are misses that you cannot afford to make. It's still 1-0 though, and Kyrios to reply in the pressure. Maybe they will get their goal. It's Cass, he's hit the bar again. Cherry! Finally they've scored. It's 1-1 with 1 minute 22 to go.
And that was a bit overdue, wasn't it? Cass again, just finding the crossbar hero, and then Cherry going for the sneaky bounce shot underneath the defender. Unsavable for him if he just places that one correctly, as he did. So yeah, 1-1, and they really shown that they can compete. However, the post D-Lynch got the read, and it's back to square one for Kyrios. They are again 1 goal deficit.
I'm not even a Kyrios fan specifically, but it's painful. It's painful to watch the fashion in which they've conceded immediately after working for about a minute to get back into the game. They've now got to do it all over again, with 1 minute 15 to go in the game. But that is a great kick-off from Chucho to carry the ball into the far corner. Cherry is in for it, and well, they've fought their way back in 6 seconds flat.
Yeah, a lot of kick-off goals right now, and I don't really know why or how. However, I'm pretty sure both teams will not give it a moment's thought, as It's now equalized again with 1 minute left on the clock, roughly. So you got to see if the kickoff is again going to be decisive. Yes, it looks like it will, but Cass, this time they can get back from the kickoff. But the net again open dash. He got the double touch. Crossbar, nice. Is it still in? No, Chucho gets the save. It's still not clear. Cass at the crossbar. How many times has that ball been on the goal line of either goal this series? It's absurd.
That was great defending from Kyrios though to keep it 2-2, and they are in with a chance of winning this game. It's been very 50-50 since the equaliser. Both teams have had their chances. Cass with a massive clear. D-Lynch just gets a deflection on it to keep it away. Now Cherry looks to his left and he's only got DRZ for company in the opposition half. DRZ now carrying in the other direction from Fort Templar. Cass is up there, but D-Lynch in there with a massive block. Still has Cherry to get round, and Ascension Kyrios might go the other way here. Cass has got a pretty open goal mouth. He cuts it back. Cherry just misses it in front of the net. Needed any sort of touch. Couldn't get the contact.
Yeah, Cass, good idea with the pass there, as Tuto does an incredibly monkey play here again, just getting rid of all pressure they could have had in the last 10 seconds. And this is getting dangerous. The ball's dropping down. Tuto with a shot, but Dashi is there to save it. And we move into overtime. Ascension Kyrios, they've switched something out. I'm not quite sure what, but something clicked for them, and they are able to compete versus Fort Templar Academy as they put this game now into overtime.
It is undoubtedly a better game, but they need the final goal to seal the deal and get the end result out of it. And right now they are on the back foot once again. Cass clears into the corner. He's got the extra touch, but D-Lynch was in position to read it and score! What a turnover that is from D-Lynch. Great reading of the play. And Fort Templar Academy lead the series 2-0.
Yeah, and Chucho just caught in an unfortunate position, just moved up too far. He needed to stay back and net a bit more. Cherry was not yet there to cover him off. So to cover him moving forward. If you're Chucho moving out of net there, you have to make contact with the ball. It's absolutely paramount that you do. And what happens if you don't? Well, Kyrios just learned that one the hard way as they lose the second game and now truly have their backs backed up against the wall. However, the question remains: is that going to give them back supports when they come out swinging, or are they gonna be broken down from that Fort Templar onslaught?
Well, teams that go 2-0 down in the series tonight are 2 for 2 in terms of forcing it to a game 5. So that's a statistic that Ascension Kyrios will be very happy to hear if they are going to get themselves into playoff contention. It's a very difficult road back for them now, isn't it? 2-0 down in the series to a 4-0 Fort Templar Academy side in a great position to extend their record to 5-0 and put pressure on the top end of the table. But Kyrios were better in that game. Unfortunately, just not good enough. They didn't take enough of their chances.
They didn't take enough of their chances and didn't score enough open nets. We've seen this series of play where they missed 3 in a row. And Chucho now with a great save. Cherry, can he get the transition? No, he can't get it over D-Lynch here in that situation. As Chucho now trying to apply the pressure. D-Lynch already up on the back, but doesn't get the recovery though. Cass, is that on time? Yes, it is. There she gets a great save again. 2 defensive masterclasses from each team. 1 each, as this is still 0-0, but with great shots in the opening 30 seconds.
Yeah, Kyrios' defense is certainly not, you wouldn't say it's letting them down as much as their offense is at times, because Chucho has made some incredible saves tight to his own goal line. The reaction time is superb on that, but he might have another one to make here. Cass makes a strong interception himself though, and he's away down that left side. He's completely befuddled D-Lynch, and he sets up Cherry! What a pass that is from Cass, and it's 1-0 to Kyrios.
Great awareness from Cass. First in bumping off D-Lynch and then looking for the pass. Not even looking for the shot, not looking at the backboard, looking for the infield pass to Cherry, who I think has to pre-jump that flick a bit, but it doesn't care. Great communication from Kyrios as they are now 1-0 up. This is where they want to be, that they have to hold it. The kickoff phase is going in favor for Templar, but it's not anything dangerous coming off of it yet.
I think they need more goals than this singular one, that's for sure, because Fort Templar Academy are going to come forwards and get their rewards eventually. Kyrios' defence has been great, but I don't think it's holding on to a 1-0 lead for over 4 minutes great. DRZ misses this time though, and Chucho might be allowed the opportunity to step in behind. Here it comes off the ceiling, and Dashi has a clear to make into the corner. DRZ follows it up, and now it's Cherry's ball. He directs it downwards. Cass looks for it off the backboard. Chucho had to delay his touch. He's now going to step into the play for Kyrios as they look to make it 2-0. well. This ball is on target, and Cass is there for the follow-up. Chucho gets the demo in there, but this one is going to float over to the corner.
Yeah, and that was another prime opportunity for Cass, who just didn't get the power on it, didn't get the accuracy on it either, so pretty horrible shot from him in this situation. That could have been the second goal for Kyrios, but for now, it's still 1-0 for them as D-Lynch takes control of the ball in the back corner, is up, gets a flick over Chucho, but no one there to challenge that ball. D-Lynch gets a free 50, and 50 is amazing! D-Lynch, are you mad? You can't just dunk Cass like this!
Well, I was just about to talk about how Cass had been great for Kyrios so far in this game and shown real pragmatism and patience to wait for his touches like that and make sure he gets good contact. But, well, had he gone for that ball a bit quicker, he might have gotten better contact. So back to the drawing board, I guess, for Ascension Kyrios, and an equaliser for Fort Templar Academy that is richly deserved again. D-Lynch has scored another one of those goals, and DRZ is in behind this time. It's the other two players on the Academy roster combining to give them the lead.
Cherry just needed to do better. He could have taken control on the wall and just baited the player, but he lost patience there in the corner and just teed up for Templar Academy again to take a quick second goal here against Kyrios, and now they've got it all to do. Their backs are firmly pushed against the wall. DRZ now musty flick, gets it towards Dashi. Dashi gets blocked though by Chucho, and Cherry just combining their defensive strength here as Cass needed to get past D-Lynch, does so successfully. DRZ takes it down the field, takes his time, doesn't have any boost, but he doesn't care. Baits in Cass as well, gets a good 50, gets a pass the second one, but there's no follow-up, and D-Lynch can take control of the ball. Fairly comfortably on the goal line here, as now Kyrios looking for some pressure. They can't find the touch. Can they? Cass nearly with a great bump to enable Cherry here, but not really going anywhere, as D-Lynch now getting into the action as well on the demos.
D-Lynch is making the difference so far in this series for Fort Templar Academy. Always seems to have creative ideas when they're in possession, and when they're off the ball, they're always looking for demos like that. They're making it real hard for Kyrios to keep themselves together defensively, but Kyrios now find themselves on the offense as they are down by one in what could be the deciding game of this series. Fort Templar Academy are 1 minute 45 away from extending their unbeaten record to 5-0. Chucho's got a very tough touch to make, but he is going to get it back in the corner.
He's baiting in D-Lynch as well. Now Cass gets just beaten by D-Lynch. The communication not quite there. One of the players has to tell Cass that he doesn't have the time to take control of that ball, and he has to go quick, as D-Lynch was hunting him down. He's now taking control in the corner. Cherry, that's an interesting cut, and not to put it lightly there from Cherry, as Cass was in a prime position to take 50. Chucho good for get 50 into the middle, but Cass just doesn't quite deal with it in time, and so it stays in the neutral half. It's now D-Lynch. Does he have the read? No, he doesn't. Cass gets it from the back wall.
1 minute to go now. Still the 1-goal lead in it for Fort Templar Academy. Ascension Kyrios having to come from behind, and they've got a little bit of room down this left side. Some joy to potentially put it middle. Cherry looks for Cass. It's a pile driver straight into the roof of the net to tie the game up. These alley-oop passing plays have given Fort Templar Academy some trouble, but they need more of them.
Yeah, the infield passes are such a good weapon for Ascension Kyrios. It's literally, whenever Kyrios have an attack and they look for the infield pass, it's more likely than not resulting in a goal, as maybe this kickoff does as well, but no, D-Lynch is equal to it, gets the flip reset as well, can't get it over Castro, gets dunked by Deshi. Can he beat Cherry? No, but it's neutral in mid. Is someone there? No, D-Lynch and DRZ just not really trying that one to contest Chucho on this one. Maybe now again the pass, looking for the pass to Cass, but can't find it. 30
seconds to go now. This game very much could go either way, but Fort Templar Academy don't need it as badly as Ascension Kyrios do. Chucho clears only as far as Deshi, and D-Lynch is lurking, trying to take hold of possession. He gets a touch on it in the corner, but Cherry was up there too. Deshi from the ceiling now puts into the middle, and Chucho has missed it. Cass has an important clearance to make, and he does so. Now DRZ blows possession away on the halfway line. It's anybody's ball for the taking, and it looks like it's going to be Kyrios with the last chance of regulation. Chucho goes up for the drag, but he gets bumped on the way. This ball stays in the air, at least for now. Cass keeps it up. This ball's coming into the middle. Cherry! No, he just gets blocked down, and it's OT in game 3.
And D-Lynch coming in incredibly late, but incredibly clutch to just get that ball into the ground and get it into overtime, as Cass now with the shot only into the corner, and DRZ takes control. Zero boost, gets a bump on Chucho though, Stashy against the backboard. Cherry is already there. Not a great clear from the pole, though, as D-Lynch puts it towards the net. DRZ not quite in. Cherry now tasked with a big clear. Stashy gets it past Cass. Baits in Cherry as well. Great play. Chucho's a bit out of position. Ground pinch maybe. No, Chucho can get back in time. Just in time for before Dashi gets the ground pinch.
Well, Dashi practically saw the headlines of that attempt at the finish, but couldn't get it all the way through to the net. And Kyrios are playing with fire in their defensive third right now, but bending and not breaking. Still, overtime goes on. Cherry off the ceiling into the far corner. He's going to get another touch on this, but he's run out of boost. Needs some help now from Chucho and Cass, and Cass goes for a back pass. Chucho's been caught out of sorts here. He doesn't have much boost to work with. He's got to be very careful not to turn the ball over. Does so well, though, to win this 50, and now Cass has to deal with this and clear as far as the halfway line. Kyrios just trying to have worked their way out from the back at the moment. They're taking it in turns in this back right corner. Nothing is working for them.
Yeah, and now the shots might be coming in from 4 Templar. Dashi takes one. That's easy pickings for Cass, though, as that one nearly ricochets into their own net. That was really, really unfortunately for Templar, who are now looking on offense. Cherry being tasked with that ball. Gets it only as fast. DRZ gets a great pass mid. Dashi with the shot, and the pulling spin is absolutely incredibly well done from Dashi, who gets it in. Second overtime win, and that is the series for Templar Academy.
What a goal. What a way to win the series for Fort Templar Academy, who stay unbeaten. They are now 5-0, putting pressure on Weeby Dreams at the top of the table. A deserved victory for them, really. A sweep over an Ascension Kyrios team that really battled from start to finish, but never had it in them to get a game win and keep themselves in it.
Yeah, that's... They got a close series out of it, but in the end, you just said it there. It didn't really look that Kyrios were threatening for a win here, unfortunately, against Fort Templar Academy, who just, at the end of the day, they just were the better side. They completely dominated Game 1. Then in Game 2, something switched for Kyrios, and they made it more open. But I feel like that was also very much deserved for Templar Academy. And in the end, if you got D-Lynch on your side at Division 1, that's gonna be a pretty good feeling, because he's been popping off this series.
Well, all good things must come to an end, and this stream is among them, as we've just watched the third and final match of the evening, a 3-0 sweep victory for Fort Templar Academy to go 5-0 after a pair of Division 1.2 matches that were highly entertaining. Quicks Esports taking the tabletop inside Hal Rising to Game 5, almost pulling off a reverse sweep before very nearly suffering a reverse sweep themselves in the very next fixture, but they hung on to take a Game 5 overtime win over Team Peak Performers to put the latter in big danger of missing out on the playoffs. But from myself, MacFish, Faded, Dennis, and Greybeard, thank you for watching, and good night.